Hello and welcome. Today, I will be presenting our research title, Assessing BIM Readiness for Facility Management Among Building Operators in Selangor, Malaysia. This work was conducted by myself and my colleagues. This research is presented at the 7th International Research Conference on Humanities, Social Sciences and Technology 2025. My name is Salizawati Kamaruzzaman from Polytechnic Sultan Salahuddin Abdul Aziz Shah, Selangor, Malaysia. Today, we will explore a critical gap in our education system and a powerful evidence based solution that can bridge it. The architecture, engineering, construction, and operation industry is undergoing a digital transformation with BIM at its core. However, in Malaysia, as in many countries, a significant gap exists. While national initiative has spurred BIM adoption in design and construction, its use often stops there. Facility managers inherit a digital cliff where structured data fails to transition into operation. This is critical because facility management accounts for up to 85% of a building total cost. Our research therefore sought to answer a key question: how ready are the primary users, building operators in Selangor, Malaysia economic hubs to adopt BIM for FM? To address this problem, our study had three clear objectives. First, to evaluate the current level of a BIM knowledge. Second, to assess readiness for implementation. And third, to identify the main barriers. We structured our investigation using the comprehensive TP3 framework, which evaluates readiness across four critical dimensions: technology, process, policy, and people. This holistic approach ensures we look beyond just software to the systemic factors that determine success. Our methodology was quantitative. We administered a structured questionnaire to a purposive sample of 100 facility management professionals in Selangor. The instrument was rigorously validated, and we used a 4-point Likert scale to encourage definitive response. The data was highly reliable and analyzed using SPSS for descriptive and inferential statistics, including correlation analysis to understand the relationship between our TP3 dimension. Let's move to our key findings. The first and most striking result is what we call the knowing doing gap. As you can see, while the overall level of a BIM knowledge was high with a mean score of 3.25, the overall readiness for implementation was only moderate at 2.18, and this indicates a significant gap between conceptual understanding and the practical ability to implement. Digging deeper into the readiness dimension, we found a clear weakest link. The technology dimension scored highest. However, the process dimension scored significantly lower than all others. This identified the lack of standardized protocols for BIM data handover from construction to operation as the most critical barrier. It's a fundamental procedural breakdown. Perhaps our most insightful finding comes from the correlation analysis. We discovered a very strong relationship between the policy, people, and process dimension. And what does this mean? It reveals that these are not isolated issues, but deeply intertwined systemic challenge. A lack of organizational policy leads to a lack of training for people, which in turn prevents the development of effective process. Interestingly, technology was less correlated, suggesting that investing in software without fixing the underlying policy and people will yield minimal returns. Further supporting our analysis, we found that respondents who were currently using BIM reported significantly higher readiness levels than users. This validates our instrument and, more importantly, suggests that first-hand experience mitigates barrier by demonstrating tangible benefits. In conclusion, our study finds that the primary impediments to BIM-FM adoption in Selangor are not technological. Operators have the foundation knowledge, but they face substantial challenge rooted in procedural, organizational, and human resource deficiencies. The core issue is the lack of standardized process, which is part of a larger systemic problem involving policy and people. And based on this finding, we propose integrate recommendation for three key stakeholder groups. For policymakers, the focus must be on leading development of national standards and incentive. For industry, the need is for clear internal strategies, and pilot projects. And for educational institutions, the mandate is to embed BIMFM into curriculum and offer continuous professional development. Only a collaborative, holistic approach can build the ecosystem needed for successful BIMFM integration. We must acknowledge the limitation of our study. Its geographical focus on Selangor. These open avenues for future research, such as comparative analysis across Malaysia, a longitudinal studies to track progress, and collective work to delve deeper into the contextual nuances for this area. With that, I thank you. Thank you for your time and attention. I'm happy to take any question. You can contact me via my email.